Sunday night, SFMF Live. You see the background, we're not in our home studio, but we're still here. And probably not gonna be a full 2 hours, so hang tight and let's go for it. Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday. Hopefully you had time to spend with God today. It is a Sunday. We had an awesome experience at church this morning with, of course, they did the nativity scene. Yes, with the kids acting out the whole nativity scene, the birth of Jesus Christ, and the Kingsmen, everybody. It was great. Really was fun to watch. Really getting into the spirit now that school's out. Everyone's on kind of the vacation the last couple of days before Christmas, so it was very exciting. Very awesome way to spend Sunday before Christmas. So hopefully you have an opportunity to do that. But it is Sunday night, and we are live. We're up on the screen. I don't see any comments yet. Are we 5 times 5? Are we good? Sound check, mic check, check 1 2, check 1 2. Let me know. Let me know. Can't see who's here. Is this the same one? All right, and of course, what you're drinking and where you are tuning in from. Let's hear it. You know I got some coffee in here. Coffee in here, and and I have hydration. You always got to hydrate. This is not the same one that we're usually on. All right, so I did a short yesterday, the day before, on perseverance. I don't know what it was, but I was in the gym thinking about a short to do, thinking about some content, and I always want to do leadership. I always want to do physical fitness. I always want to talk about how to prepare for boot camp, because that's always a common question. Physical fitness, mental toughness. I think we all know it by now, even before you go, without even watching a channel like this. I think people know physical fitness and mental toughness are 2 key aspects to all basic training. All the branches of service, and just starting a new job, whatever it is. Maybe not physical fitness for a random job, but in the military service, physical fitness, mental toughness. You got to have it. And I was thinking, what about after basic training? Still need those 2 things, right? Primarily in the Marine Corps and depending on your job. But then after your school training, after your infantry training, your school training, then into the fleet, the FMF, the Fleet Marine Force. And for all the services. What you do in your job, again, whether 4 years or an entire career, you need to maintain those 2 things, physical fitness, mental toughness. Then I started thinking about perseverance. And I even looked it up. I think we all know what the definition of perseverance is, but I wanted to see Webster's dictionary, and that says something like, when you come across something that is hard to do, but you continue to do it anyway, basically. So you're going to come across some kind of adversity, and you still push and still accomplish the mission, or just never quit or give up, right? And kind of what I said in the short, and you hear me say it all the time, 1% better every day, never quit or give up, all the things they tell you in boot camp. So I was thinking, yes, of course you need perseverance in boot camp, in your school training, during your time in service. What about after? After your service, just as important, if not even more important, to persevere. Because are you going to come across adversity in your second career, your life after the military? 100%. It's going to happen. So the thought of being able to persevere through times like that in the military and out, huge factor to be able to keep on going and succeed. So it's definitely another key ingredient to success. And there's so many. Look up leadership traits, principles in the military and out. Excuse me, I think all services probably have their own. The Marine Corps has leadership traits, leadership principles that we live by. You learn from day one, and you try to apply every single one of them. You put them kind of in your own category of which is the most important. They're not in any kind of order, so you kind of got to put them in your own order. And funny, perseverance isn't in any of those. There's a whole bunch that are, again, 14 of them, now 15. Sorry, there's 15 leadership traits for the Marine Corps. Remember, we added, what is it?
What?
What's the 15th leadership trait we added? Buck Lee.
So empathy?
Empathy. I didn't want to say it. Sorry, we need empathy. But it is added.
Watch next year, watch Tech Regiment.
All right, yes. So of all those leadership traits, again, I don't know what came to mind. I didn't even start my workout yet. Thinking about, again, what kind of short to do, and empathy. And perseverance came to mind. So some good feedback on the short. And I think it got people to start thinking about what challenges they have faced and how did they push through them. And funny, that was part of the service this morning, that who can you turn to 24/7? God will always be there for you. That's why he came to us and sent his only begotten son. Always there, 24/7. You don't have to find him. I like this message that the pastor was saying this morning. When people say, I found Jesus. He's always been there. And he knows exactly where you are. So when you find him, that's obviously a good thing. But he has known exactly where you are, when you're in trouble, when you're not, when you seek him, and when you don't. Always there 100% of the time. So when you're ready, and hopefully you're ready now, find Jesus. Always can go to him no matter what. All right, so the other thing that I was checking this morning, was it this morning? Yes, we're obviously on the move. You can see the background. We're not in the home studio. Was the fact that two different aspects of boot camp. We were talking about, was it the Navy that's going to decrease from 10 weeks to 9 weeks? Two different aspects and two different thought process. And I saw it a lot in the comments. It should be extended a couple weeks, or yes, there's a lot of BS that could be taken out of boot camp. And that's obviously, I think people are most of the comments were the administrative part, the classes, sitting in the classroom, trying to pay attention to it. I don't necessarily agree with that. I like the classes. Maybe they can be given differently, a little more interactive. Maybe I'm not sure how the other services do it, but I remember as a crew, sitting in the classroom, trying your hardest not to fall asleep. Interesting stuff, and a drone instructor is teaching it, so he or she was always fired up and got you involved in it. But it's after you've run the O course a couple of times, you ran to chow, from chow, doing some first aid, whatever you're doing, you're exhausted by the time you sit. In the summer, you're sitting in that nice, cool theater, nice seats, the lights are dimmed, trying to listen to a PowerPoint presentation. And I don't care how good of a speaker you are. It's hard to keep a couple hundred recruits that are exhausted awake to pay attention. So leave the classes there. That's what, especially Marines, we're fanatical about our history, and that's where we learn it in boot camp and then continue on throughout, get tested on it. You got to know certain things. So no issues with the classroom portion. While I was a drill instructor, I remember they kept trying to knock hours off of drill. Of course, drill gets the first thing I think that gets attacked in boot camp to decrease the hours, and they have decreased the hours. Huge mistake, in my opinion. If anything, we need to add more time to drill specifically. Drill is the foundation of leadership. It starts out with, you're building a house. You got to build the foundation first before you build a house on top of that. That's what drill does for you, the instant willing obedience to orders. That's how you start out. Again, if you, in boot camp, remember, did your platoon win any of the drill two drill evaluations in boot camp, initial drill and final drill. If you didn't win either one, maybe your platoon had some problem with discipline. But it definitely is a foundation of drill. It really is instant willing obedience to orders. The unit leader is giving commands and you're reacting immediately. So it is the foundation. There's 5 purposes of drill. that describe that. Being able to use move a unit from one place to the other in an organized manner gives a unit leader confidence and bearing to be able to lead a unit, gives your Marines an opportunity to handle individual weapons and the camaraderie. Those are all great for drill, but it definitely is the foundation of building leadership, confidence and bearing. So again, two of the main things, if you ask me, whether we should decrease or increase the length of boot camp, I don't think it probably gets tabled all the time. Who knows how often they meet? But the number one people they should ask, who do you think that should be? Maybe recently graduated Marines, but the drill instructors. Ask the drill instructors their opinion, and if it does get decreased or increased, what areas do we need more time in? I do like the ones, there was a lot of comments on, yes, increase it, add more McMap training, add more field skills, right? More time at the rifle range, all the combat skills. You definitely could add, but that's more for after boot camp. Remember, boot camp is to basically train Marines. It even says it now on the pamphlet. I never noticed that till the last graduation we went to says, and they even say it when they announce it, basically train Marines. We've known that, that's what boot camp is for, but they specifically, I think, I don't know, let me know what you think. Has it always said basically train Marines? I can't remember. All right, so I can't see any of the comments, so you want to let me know who's here? Semper Fi, my friends. Again, we're on the move. We're just touring the area. It is Sunday night.
Just did a super chat. Thank
Doc did. Semper Fi, Doc. Appreciate you, brother. Again, I can't see any of the comments right now, so I'm not ignoring any of you, I promise. But who we got? Where are the Warriors at? Ray, you here? Gary M. Who else? Carl Green. Anybody got us on timer? Michael's Drones. Who's all here? Can you tell me who's here?
Yeah, OG Street Racer.
OG.
Lay Cookie's here. Demon Hunter's here.
Lay Cookie, Demon Hunter.
Jordan, Doc Holiday.
Jordan, Doc.
Woj Tech.
Tech, Carl.
Tommy Boy had a question.
Tommy Boy, what's the question? You read it?
Boy said, what do you think about
Can
all
you
the
come around
drones?
here and read it?
What do you think about all the drones in the skies and no response from the government or the military?
What do I think about all the drones in the skies and no
Bryce
response from the
Wyborn's
government?
here.
Bryce Wyborg.
Bryce and Jordan's here. Heavy
Jordan.
J.
Heavy J.
Jared's here.
Jared. All right. Who we missing? Menachem. Michael's Drones. So the drones. I don't know if anyone has seen Trump's response to it. He did I think a live broadcast, like an hour and a half show the other day, and that came up. And I agree with what he says. The government knows exactly who's flying the drones, what they're being flown for, where they're coming from. We can find that information out. And I know with today's technology, even when I was still active duty a long time ago, the technology we had surprised the heck out of me. Went to a couple meetings with the closed door, closed curtain meetings, and the amount of technology we have, there's no way in hell, I don't know who's trying to convince who on, we don't know where they're coming from, we don't know who's flying them, we're researching, we're investigating. BS, if you ask me. They know exactly who they are. I don't think they're a threat, but I think for whatever reason, I don't know why they're not telling us who it is and why they're flying them. And they could easily just blow them out of the sky. If we don't know, easy, right? They can find, our government can find anybody, anything, anytime with any kind of electronics. So that's what I think about it. I don't think it's a threat. I'm not worried about it. I think it would be nice, though, if someone would just come out, hello, transparency, excuse me, tell us what it is and who it is. And transparency, that's another buzzword. I won't get started on that, but good God, can there just be some transparency everywhere? And I know I having a hard time with transparency after the Marine Corps. When I was a Marine, I don't ever really remember any time where people weren't transparent. You knew exactly how your platoon sergeant felt. You knew exactly how the company commander, you knew because they tell you. It seems like after the military, all of a sudden there's secrets and they don't want to hurt people's feelings or they don't want anybody to know what kind of shady business they're doing. So they have these secret meetings, right? Planning meetings in a box where there's just 3 or 4 of you having this meeting and then pass the word later. And you know, no one can keep a secret, so you start hearing these rumors of what they are planning without discussing it with everyone. So it's transparency has really been a tough one for me to it's got no patience for it. Zero patience for the lack of transparency. It's like, come on, unless you're trying to hide something or you're doing something shady, talk about it. Let us know what you're thinking. Because we can help you before you make those dumb decisions. That's really why, right? You don't have all the answers. Not one person has all the answers. So the more people you get involved, the better, right? Try it out, transparency. And then accountability. We won't get on that accountability. Anyone else here have a question? Where's John McJunkin and his crew? You guys here?
Salty just showed up.
Salty Saxy, good to see you, brother.
Malcolm is here.
Menachem.
We are on the road. He's asking if we're on the road or at home.
Yes, we're on the road. Hopefully sound is good. Did I get a thumbs up on the sound? Right? Mic is good. Sound is good. What else? Give me a question from John McJunkin and his crew. I know he's got his crew watching Sunday night. Yeah, we're not going to stay the whole time because we are on the move. And I don't want to get too loud. I don't want the neighbors to come and bust in. Or the producer to tell me I'm too loud. The last one I'll talk about, unless you can come up with some, you want to include some of them. Why can't you guys get it on the screen? That's what I really want to know. The physical fitness test, the short we did on that, does everyone's?
Heavy J had a question at the beginning saying, Sergeant Major, your best holiday leave story.
Best holiday leave story?
Yes.
Best holiday leave story. Well, any holiday at home is amazing. And I got to tell you, our last Thanksgiving just a month ago was pretty amazing because we're all together. And once you get older and your kids get older and they start moving out and life happens, it's a rare occasion, I think, that you all get back together, especially when you're far. We got East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. So we're kind of all over the place. So anytime we can get all the CC7 together is an amazing holiday. So, and that was this last Thanksgiving. Christmas is we're gonna see everybody, but it's gonna be spread out. So again, anytime we can get everyone together is the best. Some crazy places. Oh, Marine Corps holiday story? Yes, I'll tell you, boot camp when I was a drone instructor. I think I told this already. I had the moon beams. Remember the L-shaped moon beams? I had the recruits online flashing lights for, that was our Christmas celebration, and thrashed the crap out of them. I did Okinawa. I had a pretty good, my first Christmas away from home was Okinawa, and we were all bummed out. It was when it was still a one-year tour. Single Marines used to have a one-year tour in Okinawa, then they changed it to 2. So I think it was a good change. 1 year, imagine this, you only go there for 1 year. The first month or 6 weeks, 8 weeks, acclimatize to the area, getting used to your new job, the new unit, whatever it is. And then you work for a couple months, and then before you, no sound?
Came back on.
Is there sound? We got sound? We got sound?
Yes.
Check mic 1, 2. All right, so that Christmas alone, I was on mess duty, didn't want anything to do with Christmas. Mail was a lot slower then, so I wasn't getting nothing. Didn't even feel like Christmas, and it was Okinawa, it was hot. So I'm mess duty, came back to my room, whatever, in the evening, came back to my cubicle to find out my two roommates decorated, they got stuff in. I don't know where they got it all from. They decorated our cubicle. They had a little tree, a whole bunch of presents individually wrapped, and the three of us, Marines, celebrated Christmas together. It was actually my first one away from home, so a memorable one. Right, it was a little ghetto, but the best it could be in a foreign land, away from family. So that wasn't bad. Deployment.
Go ahead.
What else?
Oh, Corn Pop had a great story. He said, Sergeant Major got 30 days barracks restriction for being covered in stripper glitter on my uniform for changing a woman's tire who was dressed up in a costume as Santa's helper.
So, if you didn't hear that, who was it?
Corn Pop.
Corn Pop. Got NJP'd for having stripper glitter on his uniform because he had helped a woman change a tire while his uniform, and she was what?
Santa's helper?
She was dressed as Santa's helper and had a bunch of glitter, and it got on your uniform, Corn Pop? A likely story. That is pretty crazy. Can't think of any other wild and crazy stories. Imagine, we do miss a lot, but if you're anywhere that deployments nowadays, back home, everyone plans for it. So I think you have some pretty good celebrations when you do, while you're deployed, because people send you tons of stuff. Even Iraq and Afghanistan, after a while, tons of stuff was coming in, like too much. Come on.
Okay, Doc is asking, Sergeant Major, if you don't mind me asking, I've always been curious about the experiences of those who are serving during pivotal moments in history. Question, where were you on 9/11? How did that moment impact you personally and professionally?
That's a great one, Doc. That was from Doc. Pivotal moments, historic moments when you're serving. So the first one obviously was Desert Storm for me. Right, I remember when I got the call that in the middle of the night, get your butt in. I was married, had one daughter, number one, Cece number one, Kimi Kimi Cocoa Puffs.
9/11?
No, for Desert Storm.
Oh, sorry.
And my wife was working in graveyard, so I was home with my baby alone. They're like, get your butt in here right now, we're going to war. And they might have said Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, wherever they said, I had no idea what they're talking about. So here I was, I'd wake my baby up and find my babysitter. I didn't even know where she was, where my babysitter lived. And drove around the neighborhood, knocked on a couple doors, finally found the babysitter. Did I drop the baby off? Do you remember? Then I go in, and of course we didn't leave for like 2 weeks. But certainly a historic time, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And then 9/11, then after that was Somalia. That was kind of a weird time as well. It was shortly after Desert Storm, like a year. Shorter period of time, but also odd for us. We didn't, by then, both babies were born? No, 89 and 92, yeah. Then we had 2 babies, and that I left out of Hawaii, and it was just a mixed group of engineers, utilities, truck drivers. It was a mixed platoon, me and another sergeant, and I took this platoon, got attached once we got in country, but no real chain of command. That was pretty odd. Big working party, we just were security on tons of patrols back and forth. Only 3 months, but a pretty rough 3 months. And then nothing, then I was a drill instructor, then it seemed like everything was cool, and then 9/11 happened. We were in Okinawa, back in Okinawa, and it was 2, 3 in the morning, right? We had AFN at the time, Armed Forces Network. Those of you that know.
We just had a typhoon too,
Yeah, there's a
4 days back-to-back lockdown.
there's a typhoon, right? T-core, whatever. So the base was kind of already on lockdown. We didn't even have. Why did we not have good connectivity for the TV? We had a small little black and white TV with the rabbit ears.
To pay for cable.
Yes, and somebody was too cheap to pay for cable. So all we had was that one TV where we literally had to, with the foil and you make the things and black and white, just a small TV we happened to bring over there with us. And sure enough, my wife wakes me up in the middle of the night. She's like, "Oh my God, watch this." And it was, did we see the second tower go down? Anyhow, it was chaos and it was hard to see through the snow of the TV.
This was like 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, alarms started going off eventually, yelling stuff out. We lived on base. And next thing you know, there's Humvees driving, there's Marines walking, just kind of patrolling the whole base. It's on lockdown. You couldn't go. Nobody can come in base. No one could go out. And then for the next couple weeks, that's when the Marines started heading out. And I was at the academy at the time. Right? I was an instructor at the academy. Does that sound right? I'm asking you, you read?
Well, I wasn't listening, sir.
I was an instructor at the Staff NCO Academy at the time. Yeah, so of course I want to get to a unit and go, but it took a little while because everybody couldn't leave at once. So I stayed at the academy for a while before I finally went to a unit and then took off to help out. But odd in kind of not knowing what was going on. That was 2001, so I had been in how long? 10 or 12 years already, right? Not knowing how it was going to turn out. Who knew it'd be a 20-year war? And so historic. Crazy times. But interesting nonetheless. And then end up going 1 Iraq and 2 Afghanistans, right? We had with 2-5 was 2 deployments. One was at MU, and then the second one was to Iraq, and then back to Hawaii. 2 deployments with 3-3, America's Battalion. Very interesting times. Another podcast that we've been listening to. Yeah.
The drive on the way out.
Yeah, a podcast that the producer has been listening to, and I've been kind of watching. Again, now that I'm off, I have time. This one's interesting. Stolen Valor. All right, we talk about it not too often on here. We talked about that Sergeant Major recently that claimed Purple Hearts and Combat Actions, claimed a bunch of stuff, who he, again, already was a stud, made it to Sergeant Major, was, I got to believe, a decent Marine. I didn't know him at all. But he was lying about, he was wearing some awards and ribbons, jump wings and other stuff. Sound again?
Is it just mine?
Check 1, 2, check. We got sound?
That's good.
So this particular podcast, Navy SEALs, they were Rangers. It happens. And I don't know, I don't understand. That's what I asked my wife a couple of times. Some people love to talk about their combat experience, and some don't. Some use that for financial gain. That's why they're after this guy, Kennedy. Tim Kennedy. That's why they're on him. He was a Ranger. Green Beret. Green Beret, already a badass, did some great things, a lot of combat. Sounds a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not dangerous. What's it? No, that's okay. So again, sound like he was a badass Green Beret. But then after he got out, he's embellished his bio a little bit from what it sounds like. And the biggest one, he claimed a Bronze Star, which he has. He earned a Bronze Star, and they've seen the certificate for that. The citation, which again, Bronze Star, just so everyone knows, Bronze Star is it's a high award. you can only get it in combat. The equivalent is an MSM, a Meritorious Service Medal. That's for non-combat. So the level of the Bronze Star, again, it's very high, but you can only get a Bronze Star in combat. It doesn't necessarily have to be for combat actions. Or how do you keep saying it? I know you're doing something.
I'm sorry.
V for valor for, what's the phrase he kept saying?
Valorous.
Valorous combat action or something.
Bronze Star, valorous.
Anyhow,
Valor device for
yeah,
valor.
with the V, but there was a phrase that he kept saying.
Which one, Tim Kennedy or anti-hero guy?
Anti-hero guy. V for what? I know it's V for valor, but for like intense personal combat action. So I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, so again, in staff NCOs and officers would be ones, and if you had a great deployment, everything worked out well, you were successful, your unit did well, there's going to be some staff NCOs and officers to receive the Bronze Star because you're in combat. Your combat operations somewhere, you're in harm's way. That is a high award for a staff NCO or officer. The difference is if they attach the combat V to it. V is for valor, and that is for combat operations. God, I wish I could think of that phrase that guy kept using. But that has to be for specific incidences for you to rate or be awarded the V attachment. Anyway, that's what this guy kept used on his bio, earned the Bronze Star with V for valor, for intense combat operations, which he had all that, but he was just never awarded the V, and it's tough to get one. As a sergeant major, I had written a couple Marines that earned it, deserved it, and they don't always get the combat V. A good friend of ours that is on the channel, very dear friends, Brian Olea. It took me years to write that one. Not to write it, I wrote it and it was accurate 100%. If a sergeant major and a colonel wrote this Marine up for a Bronze Star with V, you would think it passed. But there's some suits in headquarters Marine Corps who read it, well, it's not written well. Anyway, another story for another time. But it's not easy to get the combat V attachment with the Navy Achievement Medal with the V, the Navy Com with the V, or the Bronze Star with the V. And that's the difference. So anyway, this guy, Tim Kennedy, claimed it on his own personal website in a book that he wrote, numerous speaking engagements. He is claiming this combat V, and it's why people are watching him. And they're hiring him to come speak. And he's not cheap. He's like $50 to $100,000 to get him to come speak. But it's all based on he's a warrior, Green Beret, combat operations, Bronze Star with the V for valor. That's what these guys are getting after him on, because there's no record of it anywhere. It's not in his DD-214. He claims it. It says that he's got more than one DD-214. Just the whole story. I've only been listening to it for a day or two.
Sorry, Ray. I just now looked up.
But they're calling him out, and he's trying to rebut it, but he never once says that he no, he didn't. Sorry, I made a mistake. I didn't get it. Those are my editors. They just add that in there. Just a shady story. I would like to believe him, but I think there is a lot of veterans like that. And those are the ones, again, some of you love to talk about your combat actions, and some of you just don't. And that's 100% your prerogative. But with this guy, again, Green Beret, multiple combat action deployments, why isn't that enough? Yes.
Ray did a $50.
Ray from Queens, Semper Fi, my friend. A $50 super chat? Amen, brother.
That's crazy.
Thank you very much. Man, Ray, you the man. You the man. Awesome. I'll drink to that. Some water. Hydrate. So, what? Sorry, I know I've been bouncing around. I don't want to cut this short, but where are we at? Is Carl here? Carl here? Where's the time? A bunch of different topics. I'm excited about being off and again on the road, be able to travel a little bit, see some family, spread out, let my hair down. Just kidding. But just finally time to relax, focus on family. And that's why you're going to get us, but you're going to get us in some different places. So I hope this is acceptable to everyone. What else? Are you playing music?
Yeah. See if we'll get strikes with that, but we'll see.
All right, we'll see.
I'm doing what I can.
You really are. Can they hear it? Can you guys hear that music on there? How about the latest?
All right, trying to multitask.
All right, yeah, she's multitasking over there. Looking good. We didn't bring any merch, but don't forget,
Menachem, no.
like and subscribe. Check out the merch. Someone did ask about, oh no, it was another video. Yeah, on the short, I was wearing a different SFMF shirt. I think it was the grunt style. It was a grunt style shirt. That's where we got that one. But if not, you know where to get it. SFMFmerch.myshopify.com. Didn't bring anything with us here. It's just a couple of 2-day overnight, relax, yeah, moving and grooving. Can you hear the music?
We can now. Just barely, I think. It's not loud.
That podcast, I'm going to check it out a little bit more. It's, what's it called? No.
Valhalla was one.
Valhalla is one.
Antihero.
Antihero.
And the other was the Green Beret Chronicles, I think.
Maybe I didn't see that one. Green Beret Chronicles.
That was the first guy that was like,
He was the first one talking. All good stuff. And again, any chance you get to listen to guys, again, my biggest question is, again, some people like to talk about, I like the Valhalla guy who's pretty down to earth, and just that community, the soft community, Special Operating Forces, it is a small community, so they all do know each other. And that's what blows my mind is how someone would embellish so much and not expect, because somebody else was there. And that was another shady part to that story. I forgot that part was one of his eyewitnesses to all of his actions, and one he kept mentioning is he got 20 kills from on top of a sniper tower. And the Valhalla guy was like, first of all, there was no sniper tower. But the only guy that could vouch for him, was he KIA, killed in action, or he's not around anymore? What? Are we losing? I can't see the comments, so if we lost, voice here, let me know. So that was the crazy part. Don't you think, again, with today's technology, we talk about that all the time. Today's technology, that someone else is going to eventually hear one of your speeches, watch one of your podcasts, see you on the web somewhere, and then start recounting those stories. Wait a minute, I was there with him. I remember this dude. And that's not what happened at all. I know there's some, especially when writing a book. I did have a friend that wrote a book after a deployment, and he recounted the story, and he had an editor, and they sat down, and he wrote a book. And once it was, and we all kind of knew, right? Once it was published, I didn't read the whole thing because in the first couple of chapters, I was like, wait a minute. That's not how it happened. We did have this engagement, but that's not what happened. Then more and more, it was like not just untrue, embellished quite a bit. And we're all still in the same unit. So we started dogging him and asking him, bro, that's not, he said, I know. The editors, those are editor changes that they made so the book could sell. So again, I still have 2 problems with that. Then maybe it's not time to write a book, or maybe that's not the right avenue to approach. People will read it if they're interested in combat operations during that time and that time frame and these units that were there. There'll still be interested people to want to hear the truth, not an embellishment, or just write a fictional book. right? That easy. Just like the movie Jarhead, I bring that up all the time. Not a great movie, not a cinematic genius movie where there's action everywhere, but it was accurate. So take your pick. Do you want a best-selling book or a movie? If you do, you might have to make it action fiction, because there's some stuff you just cannot add in there. There's top secret stuff, need to know basis, and stuff you don't share with the public. And those are the ones I think that people want to tell all of it, but some things you just can't. Because this guy, I guess, back to Tim Kennedy, implicated himself on some war crimes. Could be considered war crimes, but was it, again, him just trying to beef up the stories, make it sound more, or did it really happen, right? There were so many other embellishments, maybe those were too. So who knows what they're gonna do with it, and that's these guys' thought process is somebody's gotta do something about it. Here's all the evidence, right? Eyewitness accounts who did serve with him told another story about Ranger School or Green Beret School. Something, again, we all know how school seats work. If you get a school seat, right? I had a school seat to scuba school. Couldn't wait, excited to go. Like 2 days before I went, I got bumped. Because there's people in the waiting list for it, right? There's always an alternate. Anytime you get a good school seat like that, leaders are gonna have alternates standing by. He had said at one point that he couldn't go because he was gonna get married, wanted to go to the next course later on. So his sergeant major told him, well, in order to not lose a school seat for next cycle, I need you to go the first day, fail out. Fail out of the course, get kicked out. We didn't give up that school seat, so we won't lose one in the future. Again, all seems kind of shady to me. And that was the story though. That's why he failed out of Green Beret School. I hope that's what it's called. The Army guys out there, correct me if I'm wrong. But then come to find out, of course, they checked. These guys that are fact checking him called the schoolhouse and said, hey, did you have Tim Kennedy? And did he fail the first day, second day? They're like, yes, we had him, but he failed like 2 weeks in and failed the shooting portion. The known distance qualification course. That's what he failed. That's why he was dropped. And that's why he came back later. And the second time around, he passed it. So again, the whole same thing seems shady to me. So stolen ballot, why? Why would anyone do it? And again, with today's technology, why would anyone think they could get away with it? And for how long? Because they've said he's already made an undisclosed large amounts of money on the stories that he's been telling. So who knows why?
Not to mention all the premium speaking he does, all the speaking events he gets paid for because of his...
All the speaking engagements he gets because of his bio, right? Someone's looking for a guest speaker to come to something, they're gonna look up Bronze Star or highly awarded service members, Marines, looking for a Green Beret with combat action, with Valor Awards, whatever it is. However they find them, that's what you expect. And most of the audiences, and that's who I think guys like him cater to, civilians that don't really know the process, right? If I'm a civilian, I hear a guy is Bronze Star with V for continuous valor actions in combat. Man, I always wanted to listen to that, just so I get that statement that he said about the combat V, how you earn it. That's who you're gonna hire, and you're gonna expect 100%. Why would anyone lie about it? Or why would they think they could get away with lying about it? And then the last point is, again, some people choose to talk about it, some people choose not to. Those are the stories that I would want to hear. All right.
So Epilepsy Dever says he's working at Camp Smith Warrior right now.
Epilepsy, someone says he works.
Michael Jones is here.
Michael Jones is here. Someone's at Camp Smith right now, working at Camp Smith. Love Camp Smith gym. That is, I think, one of the best. All military gyms are high speed now, but Camp Smith has a great one. And it's open 24 hours, is it still? I like going there about 4:30 in the morning. No one's there. I play my own music. It's huge. It's nice. It's clean. And they have a sauna. Love sitting in the sauna after a good workout. Love the Camp Smith gym. Parking at Camp Smith, now that's a completely different story. If you know, you know. If you're gonna go to Camp Smith for a meeting, you better go a couple hours early, or someone that you know works there can put a cone out somewhere, because there is no parking on Camp Smith. You gotta park at the bottom and go for a 2-click hike uphill. Camp Smith, another hidden gem, I think. Great view from Camp Smith, from the football field. Played a couple football games there.
Okay, Menachem is saying that, can you please tell Sergeant Major I'm filling in my packet and everything is going smooth?
Nice, Menachem, for everyone. He's filling out his packet. Everything's going smooth. Any hold up. Remember, there's a waiver for everything. So if anyone tells you no, don't take no for an answer. There's a waiver for everything. What else? Who else is in the house?
Matthew Askren just showed up and said he's about to get his run in, wanted to stop in and say hello.
Matthew Askren, good to see you. About to get your run in. All right. Nothing less than 3 miles. I hope that's common knowledge for everyone. We don't run less than 3 miles. After your workout, in fact, your first 30 minutes of a workout is when after the first 30 minutes, that's when you start burning calories, gaining muscle. The first 30 minutes is a warm-up. And I know you don't always have 30 minutes to work out, but that's what I try to do. Run nothing less than 3 miles, and don't work out any less than 30 minutes. But here's what I'll tell you also. If you don't have 30 minutes, is it better to not work out? We used to work with a guy when we were judging bench press contests. Scotty Ashley is his name, Air Force Senior Master Sergeant at the time. No, that's Navy. Senior Master Sergeant. Right, that's Air Force, E8, Senior Master Sergeant. He wasn't a chief yet. He wasn't a Chief Master Sergeant. Worked at their Staff NCO Academy, big dude. Excuse me, I would do bench press contests. And he was one of the judges. Just a huge guy, like twice as big as me, at least, right? He was about 350, 385 when he was real big. He had a waiver to never roll his sleeves up. He couldn't. He had Sosan in Okinawa, had to make his uniform. That's how big he was, bodybuilder, huge. Good dude. We had him as one of our judges. After a while, we took over the powerlifting competitions in Okinawa, right? The two of us, and he was our third judge. Every time we do, and there's 6 or 7 bases on Okinawa, we do host one maybe once a month, a bay 2 a month. So it was a lot. And every time we'd show up there, we'd meet there, we'd start setting up. Scotty Ashley would say, I'm gonna go get a workout real quick. I'm like, bro, you got like 10 minutes. He's like, yep, that's enough. He would never miss an opportunity to get a workout in, whatever it is, whatever body part that he was on. It seems like it was mostly chest. I don't know why maybe it's an easy workout, not to just put plates on and push. But he would tell me, swear by it, that never pass up an opportunity to get a workout in, whether it's 10 minutes or 2 hours. It's better than not. It's kind of been my philosophy. Remember, I told you no days off, because you never know when you are going to have to schedule a day off, or just life happens and you don't get a chance to work out. If it's the day after your day off, now you got 2 days off. So no days off. Don't plan for any days off. But to this day, Scotty Ashley, I think about that when I'm looking at the clock. Man, I only got like 15 minutes. Well, that's 15 minutes of workout, which is what I plan on doing tonight, because I haven't worked out today. So don't skip it. 30 minutes if you can, 30 minutes or more if you can. So Matthew, if you got time, more than 3 miles. How about boot camp? How far do you run in boot camp? Here's something crazy that maybe those of you have never thought about. Drone instructors are in awesome shape. Yes, they're beasts. But my run time actually got slower when I was a drill instructor. And I lost weight, lost muscle. Drill instructors don't have time to PT. And in boot camp, how many times do you run over 3 miles? Again, I know it's changed over the years. When I was a recruit, we had one 5-miler run. What we did, we stopped and did exercises. We'd run around the Oak Course stop and do exercises. It wasn't just straight 5 miles. You only ran 3 miles twice, initial PFT and final PFT. So all the time in between there, the runs you do, a mile, mile and a half. In first phase especially, you barely run at all. So think about it. A drill instructor, if you're on a drill instructor, you got to work out on your own. In the summer, you only have a 3-day break in between cycles. So on those 3 days, you think you're going to PT your butt off? It's time to relax, again, breathe, and start back up. So drill instructors don't, as great a shape as they're in, that's just from walking around, running around back and forth. The PT thing, you thrashing the boys of PT, one drill instructor flies back to the barracks, showers, changes over, and gets ready and accepts him. You don't get a whole lot of time to PT. You got to find time as a drill instructor.
Okay, Mark Hankins said, U.S. Army Colonel David Hackworth earned 8 Bronze Stars with Combat V, served Korean and Vietnam Wars. Do you have a story?
David Hackworth. Do I have a story about Colonel Hackworth? Yes, I do. He is the most highly decorated soldier still to this day, I believe, right? Most highly decorated. It depends on Tim Kennedy, what he has claimed. But Colonel Hackworth, I do have a story about him. I was a senior drill instructor on the depot, and they called me in one time. The sergeant major said, hey, the base sergeant major now, not my battalion. Base sergeant major called and said, hey, I need you to escort this old Army guy around. He's an author. He's a highly decorated Army officer. He's retired. He's writing a book about the Marine Corps, and he wants a tour. You got it. I'm like, oh man, I don't have time for this. Right, I have a platoon. We're in 3rd phase already, and I want to drill. But I got roped in. I'm obviously II Sergeant Major, 30-inch step. So I waited at headquarters for it. And this older guy shows up. Must be him. I get one of our carts, and they roll up with the van, and they're like, okay, drill instructor, you're going to drive, and you adjutant, and start naming these other people that are going to go. Colonel Hackworth says, nope. I just want to hang out with the drill instructor. That's it. Nobody else. I was like, oh, okay, all right, this guy might be okay. So he gets in, him and I in one of the little golf carts with the flatbed that you put the sick bay commandos on, just him and I. And I'm like, where would you like to go first? He said, show me the whole base. I want to go in the squad bay. I want to go in sick bay. I want to go in dental. I want to go to the PT field. I want to go everywhere. And as we're driving, he's just asking me things. What's your typical day? What do the recruits do? What would you like to see change? What is going great? Just great questions. Obviously, he's writing a book about it. I even asked him, why are you writing a book about the Marine Corps? You're Army. He said he loved the Marines. That's it, plain and simple. He said, I love the Marines, everything about the Marine Corps. The best part was when we do the tour, and again, great questions, introduced them to some of the drill instructors, even some recruits. Then we get back to headquarters, and I walk him upstairs. The big conference room is ready, the big dog and pony, right? He's a highly decorated Army colonel, 06. Great dude. So they set up this big dog and pony, and we walk in, and I look around, and the lowest ranking individual in there, I think, was probably a lieutenant colonel. Maybe a major here and there, probably a scribe. No one listed. I think the sergeant major may have been in there. We go in, and the colonel says, all right, drill instructor, you can wait outside. And Colonel Hackworth says, if the drill instructor is going outside, I'm going outside. He needs to be in this meeting too. So obviously the colonel's like, yes, of course, come on in, drill instructor. Big mistake, because as soon as I sat down, I fell asleep. Because that's what drill instructors do when you sit down in a nice office, a nice comfy chair. And even Colonel Hackworth, at one point, I heard him say, leave him alone. He's taking a breather. So needless to say, I developed a great relationship with Colonel Hackworth. He just signed and autographed a book later for it. The book is about face. If you haven't read it, it's a big fat book, but it is awesome, and it's his story about the Marines. Very pro-Marine, good dude. It's how comfortable I got with him after a while. I asked him about his. I thought he had 5 Purple Hearts. I don't remember the actual number, but at one point I'm like, sir, really? 5 Purple Hearts? You didn't think about ducking instead of getting shot? Obviously joking, but he told me the stories about all of each one of the Purple Hearts. And just a warrior, just a good old-fashioned hardcore, like they don't make him like that anymore. Warrior. What a good dude. Thanks for bringing that up. Who asked that story? Who asked that about Colonel Hackworth? Most highly decorated Army, I know that.
Mark Hankins mentioned him. I asked if you had a story.
Yeah. Chesty? Is he another Chesty? No, rep. All right. What else? We have to, we can't go without, uh-oh, my mic is flashing. We're having a problem with the mic? Love using the mic. Love it. How about this view? The shirt? Yes. Oh, I saw it on there. It's flashing. What color is it now?
Oh, snap. This one's flashing too.
So,
Might go a whole hour. We have 3
might
more
last
minutes.
a whole hour. She likes the microphone process.
Do we need you?
So we need to take them out altogether. SFMF. She's also working on, she asked me, I finally cleaned my truck, washed it. She asked me if the back window was ready for the big
Blake Cookie said he bought a truck. So
SFMF.
he's waiting for it.
Lay Cookie bought a new truck. Is it a Ford? Can I get on my Ford kick right now? 2 of my best friends, both have Fords. I don't know if Lay Cookie ever talked trash about my Chevy, but maybe. I do drive a Chevy, and it's a first for us. We've been Toyota, loyal to Toyota because they last forever. 4Runner, we had a couple 4Runners. My wife's got a couple Toyotas. Scion, the Boxy, the BB, XB. We're huge fans of Toyota. Even one of the 4Runners I had, I think I bought it with 200,000 miles on it. So they last forever. Solid. Did have a friend who and he worked at Chevy. And he introduced me to this Silverado, and here's how he did it. By bringing one to the house, dropping it off for the weekend. Check out this Silverado ZR1, what is mine, a 7, or I don't even know what it is. A 1500, 4x, 4-door, long bed, white, kind of everything I wanted in a truck. I just wanted it to be a Toyota. He dropped one off, we took it for the weekend, and we kind of started liking it. Like how big it is on the inside. And even looking, when you see Fords down the road, they seem thin and tall. My Chevy's like short and fat, kind of like me, stout, just seemed a little bigger. So I liked that about the Chevy. And still wasn't convinced though, and wasn't ready to buy a truck just yet. So about a couple months later, he has one of his employees drop off another one, similar to the first one, another 4x, another 4-door, white Chevy Silverado, maybe upgraded. I didn't know the difference between them at all. And he said, hey, just let me know, give me a call Monday, and I'll have somebody come pick it up. So we did, and this is in Hawaii, took it to the North Shore, got a little muddy. And then the third time he did, so even months later. So this was over a course of a couple of years that I knew him, but that was his tactic after a while. Let me just give him, what do you call that when you fall in love with the product?
Brand loyalty?
No, I don't know. Like when you, like even purchasing a car, when you take it home, you don't want to give it up anymore because now it's kind of, you had mentioned that before. I don't know, you had a name for it. Anyhow, so long story short, we finally gave in and purchased one. I remember him telling me he had been in the car business for a long time. He was a retired Army colonel as well, had been working at Chevy for at least a decade, if not more, 15, 20 years. He said, we were the hardest sell in his entire career. It took him that long for us to purchase one. But we did, and we liked it. Had some problems, of course, after the warranty died out, all of a sudden we had an issue here and there. But to this day, I still love it. And I know I never got into the whole Ford and Chevy rivalry because I didn't have either one. And I would just go with everyone else. Yeah, Ford, the acronyms, Ford and the difference between the two. And I still don't know that much about each one to say which. Anyhow, long story short, two of my friends have Fords. Both of them blew up. So if that doesn't kind of steer you in a direction to choose which one you want. One of them bought a GMC, and what did Lay Cookie ever answer? What did he buy?
Oh, he said.
Still Ford?
Yes.
I do.
F450.
F450.
SD.
SD.
He said he also has a 15 Forerunner, 2015 Forerunner.
Forerunner.
Tundra.
I'm telling you, Toyotas last forever. And Lay Cookie, that's a 450, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
do.
what happened to the other one because it's struggling so hard.
Yeah, was the other one wasn't that big. And here's what as much as I didn't know about my Chevy, I need a bigger one if I want to pull something heavy. So I didn't plan for that. So maybe my next one will be a big one. I do like how the Fords, the strength and the power of Fords seems to be very impressive. But I do like the body style of the Chevy Silverado.
Heavy Joe made it funny. He said Fords break easy, so that's why you get a nice pair of walking boots. Chevy guys dress like Luke Bryan, just overweight.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm telling you, the Chevys are short and stout, like me. The Fords seem to be slimmer and taller. Pretty tough. I do like him. What I don't like in the Ford, and this is, I choose vehicles differently maybe than someone else. I don't like the driver's side and passenger window on a Ford, how it goes down like that. And I know I understand it's because you got the big old mirrors and you got to see everything you're pulling and the cows and everything behind you. I do want bigger mirrors on my Chevy, but I don't like how the windows go straight and then down at the last minute, forward, for a purpose, right? I'm not a rancher, I'm a city boy. Maybe a rancher. Take it off.
Okay.
Why do we go through this? Crazy how the mic goes out like that. I don't know why. Can you still hear me? Sound check. 1, 2, check mic.
There it is. Oh, see, now it sounds like we're in an echo chamber.
No, the sound is bad. So the mic was good while it lasted. Anyway, again, this is not going to be a 2-hour show. So appreciate all y'all being here. It is Sunday. It's got another toilet. How about this? Am I good here? Now I can't hear anything. Can you guys hear me?
Should improve a little bit.
It improved?
See, it says, did you go to the bathroom to vlog?
Is that what it sounded like? Like a tin can?
That's better.
We're in this room
See?
where there's
it's
tile floor.
Thank you, Saxy. They're saying it's better.
Okay, it's better. Give one. We'll keep her on. We'll keep the producer on. One more show. What's that called when you have problems and you fix the problems? Job security. That's what that is. Job security. Or adapt and overcome. Sure. Yes, Marines are good. I think all service members are great at that. Adapt and overcome, no matter what. I think everyone's good at hurry up and wait too. That can't be just a Marine thing. Yes, there's tile floor, very nice tile, but there's tile floor. Nothing on the walls either. So one picture behind this. The rest are It's the echo chamber in here. But we adapted and overcame, making it happen.
Jared said, I know what you are. I recognize the painting in the background.
For real?
It's not a painting, that's a window.
Yeah, that's a window. That's a real turtle. That's the beach. The turtle's taking a nap. I can see it behind us.
Carl said, sounds like we're back in the barracks.
Yes. Barracks sounds like this. Bro, this is like one of the first hotel rooms that doesn't have carpet. It's nice though. It is nice to be away. But not for long. We're gonna be traveling. And today's what, the 21st?
I'm sorry, what?
Is today the 21st? 3 and a wake up? 22. Oh, even closer. 3 and a wake up till Christmas. So I don't even want to tell you next time we're going to be on because we don't know for sure. Christmas Eve?
No.
That's Wednesday. No.
Wednesday is Christmas.
Well, Wednesday's Christmas. Yeah. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Is it really? Wow. You see? You see how busy we are? Wednesday is Christmas. Wow. So we may not see you again until after Christmas. So let's take this opportunity right now. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Hope you have an amazing Christmas.
Jared said, Tim Kennedy told me where you are.
Tim Kennedy told.
He might be up the street.
He might be here. Or he might be up the street. He might be giving a presentation somewhere on his Bronze Star with V for Valor. Interesting. Yeah, that whole thing, I'm telling you, I don't know how it sits with me. Right now, I'm listening to the podcast, and here's the thing: he's had a rebuttal podcast, but he dances around. He doesn't answer. Yes, this is where I got it. He had one of his excuses was, for a Purple Heart. He said, "Yeah, I got shrapnel here, and I got shot here, and I rate Purple Hearts. I don't know if he's wearing them or what, but the reason he said it wasn't officially awarded was because when he got attached to this ODP, and I don't even know what that stands for, when he got attached to this unit, he really had no chain of command, no chain of custody. So there was no one to actually physically write him up for that Purple Heart. And the rebuttal to that was, well, funny, because you had a chain of command that wrote you up for the Bronze Star with the B. Why didn't they add in the Purple Heart? So again, just way too much shadiness to all of it to not just come clean. That's what these other Green Berets are just saying, bro, tell everyone, hey, I made a mistake. I said I had a V, but I never got it. My actions probably could rate a combat V attachment, but I've never been written up for it. Sorry. Right? Try that. I made a mistake. Yes, I embellished. Sorry. I think people would be able to handle that a whole lot better than him still dancing around and making things up and making excuses, right? His 2 eyewitnesses are no longer with us. Right? That's a little interesting because everyone else that was there during that deployment told the same exact story. The 7 or 8 of them, he said, this guy called these guys. Those 7 or 8 told the same exact story, but that same exact story was different than Tim Kennedy's. So
Matthew says, I've got a Bronze Star, no V. I've never mistakenly stated otherwise. It isn't that difficult.
Same way. I've never accidentally put an award on or said I rate an award that I don't. It isn't an accident. And here's a story for you. Remember I did do a guest speaking at a place, and the guy asked me to send in my bio, and I did. My producer helped me write just a quick short paragraph. And when he introduced me right before I started speaking, he did add an award on there or something. Wasn't there something incorrect? You know what I'm talking about? Anyway.
The one at the Azusa?
Yeah. Azusa Pacific, spoke at a Veterans Day thing. It was very cool. Great crowd. But he had said something, I don't remember what it was, but it was something that was inaccurate. I didn't have that award or a school or something. And as I took the stage and shook his hand, I said, hey, that part is incorrect. And I don't want to put him on the spot. I wasn't diming him out or anything or correcting him. I didn't want to, but I also didn't want people to think something that I had that I didn't. And I don't even remember what it was. I don't think it was a huge deal, but it was inaccurate. And I didn't, again, want to, ain't no stolen valor here. So I made that clear right on the spot. So yes, great point. You don't accidentally add some, especially something like a Combat V device. That's huge. There's a big difference on a Bronze Star between a Bronze Star and a Bronze Star with Combat V. Huge difference. So no, that's not a mistake.
Malcolm says, I have an MOH, never mistaken it for a Silver Star.
Menachem has a Medal of Honor.
He says, yeah, you better believe it. Let's hear it.
Well, we want to believe it. Well, let's hear it. You have a Medal of Honor. There's more to that. Got to be more to it. Menachem, let's hear it. Are you being facetious? Being funny?
That's what he's saying. Malcolm's out here making jokes. He said, yeah, you better believe it. Everyone's saying it's got to be joking. I didn't have MOH if you haven't served.
Yeah, you're getting ready.
Ellen got one. Obama was giving them out like candy, right? So all those people got one of those like citizenship.
Yeah. It's not a military
Meryl Streep got one.
Medal of Honor. Menachem, you're being funny. Because you're still working on your package. Working on something. And Obama was at one time. Didn't he give a couple, like the highest civilian award you can give to somebody?
Meryl Streep and Oprah and all those guys.
Some ridiculous stuff he was handing out like candy. Yes. And I got to believe that the Army is the same way. Marines are very, very stingy with their medals and awards.
Jared said he's the recipient of an NDM.
What's the NDM?
National Defense Medal.
Yes, National Defense Medal. Who said that?
Jared.
Proud of it. Proud of it. So Colonel Holt and I, friends from way back, we served in 3-3 together. You know, the license plate where people get their medals put on license plate, and the impressive ones, Navy Cross, Gunny Rod, he's got one on his. Some Bronze Stars, you see some Ds on there, you see Legion of Merits, some of the higher awards. Colonel Holt and I joked that we're going to get one with the National Defense Medal on our license plate. And as we laughed and joked about it, I've seen a couple with the National Defense, and nothing against them at all. But I think that spot would be reserved for combat action, right? Something like that, or a combat award. Or Medal of Honor, Menachem. Proud National Defense Service. And they're not giving them anymore. Interesting how those awards work and the awards board. Pretty frustrating at times, but it is awesome to see when Marines. I was talking about how stingy the Marine Corps is with their medals. So you know when a Marine is highly decorated, he or she is a true badass. I did.
Malcolm said I was awarded on Thanksgiving when I was with the Gravy SEALs.
The Gravy SEALs.
It's MOH.
MOH. You got your MOH on Thanksgiving with the Gravy SEALs. Earned every bit of it. I'm positive you did. Well, the Air Force is a little. I think all the branches of service take their awards a little bit differently. And here's one I did I think I told you I went to the Air Force NCO Academy. All E6s. The MSM, the Military Service Medal, is a high, it's equivalent to a Bronze Star, but in non-combat action, the MSM. And for Marines to get it, you have to be, I'm guessing, again, it's not written anywhere, but usually Lieutenant Colonel and above. and E9s. I see one or two every now and then. An E8 will get an MSM, Military Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal. So it's high. It's a high award for Marines. As a staff sergeant, I went to the Air Force NCO Academy, where it's all about 130, 140 technical sergeants. That's the Air Force E6. In that school, looking around at all the Air Force awards, and I was kind of stacked as a staff sergeant. I had quite a few. My highest one being, I think at the time, the Navy Commendation Medal. At least half of this class of E6s had MSMs. A couple even had stars as E6s, Meritorious Service Medals. So again, that's just confirmed to me that Marines are very, very stingy with awarding Marines with medals, ribbons, and badges. And you can tell when we wear a uniform, we don't have stuff all over the place, which I like it. I like it like that. Very humble, right? There's no indicator of what our job is on our uniform. At least you can tell the recon guys that's dual cool with the scuba bubbles and the jump wings, and you kind of guess EOD has a badge. MAR4 Raiders have a badge now, but very limited on what our uniform displays. French Fourragère, pretty cool wearing that. The 5th and 6th Marine Regiment are authorized to wear the French Fourragère, but only while they're assigned to that unit. So very limited on our uniforms. So again, back to the stolen valor, don't do it. So I got to say, again, I've never personally met anyone that has done it. I've never seen anyone out on the street walking around in uniform. And I hope I don't. I just hope people stop doing it.
So Ramirez just popped up in the comments as I was with you, Sergeant Major, with a different company, 2-5.
All right, 2-5 Retreat Hell. Ramirez, what company were you with? Big G, baby. I was just talking about a Blackheart book. I told that story a little bit, how the Marine wrote a pretty good book, but it did get changed during editing.
It's a Compatoon.
So headquarters. Great deployment. Great time. Loved 2-5. Loved everything about it. The training was pretty intense in California, up and down them hills. I was probably the most physically fit in my life while we're 2-5. Warriors. Yeah, some true warriors in that battalion. Most highly decorated battalion in the Marine Corps. 2-5. I think that's still today. Better be. Retreat L.
I think we're going to push to about 10 more minutes. Carl's got us at 120 clicks.
Carl, good to see you, brother. What's the time at? 1:20? All right. We will start wrapping up here shortly, though. I did try to a few minutes ago, but again, we love spending time with y'all. Love this community. Like and subscribe. All the things to do to help continue to build this community up. Smash the like button. Double tap.
Ramirez has said you had Corporal Tejada as your radio operator.
Yeah. I remember Corporal Tejada. Rocha, what about, was Rocha at that time too? He was my S1. He was an 03, but he was my admin clerk. He used to thrash him. Awesome Marine. Yeah, and Corporal T. Rocha was a heat case a couple times on some of those hikes up and down the ridge line in San Mateo. Some killer ridgeline hikes, and we did one in the creek bed there. That was terrible, but everything was always, we'd go some distances. Rocha he fell out one time. He casualty. He didn't even know. I mean, he was hiking along. He was carrying the guy down, powering through some of these ridge lines. Boom! He just did the dying cockroach. Boom! And we woke him up, put water on him. Doc came, gave him a silver bullet. The whole night, and he popped out of him. He's like, "What's everybody doing? Let's go." But you know the deal. Once you have a heat case like that, you're more prevalent to it happening again. So we, put him on a vehicle, sent him back. He was good to go. No issues whatsoever. Went on another hike and say, "That's it, Rocha. Stay right behind me. Let me know when you start feeling a little lightheaded or something." And I was in front of him. He's right behind me. I had to stay. Rocha, you good? Rocha, you good? A couple miles in. Rocha, good. I'm good. I'm good. All of a sudden, Rocha, you good? Nothing. Boom. He just fell out again. Body core temperature, another silver bullet. Good to go. He was fine. I'm telling you, it was right before deployment. So now we're concerned about his heat cases. It goes from heat exhaustion, heat stroke. We didn't want him to die out there because of the heat. But he got evaluated. He ended up going with us. So we were scared to death that he wouldn't be able to deploy with us. But he did. But watch that heat. Did you have something?
Mark Hankins just did a super sticker.
Mark Hankins. Thank you, brother. Simplify super sticker.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Okay, not sure when we're going to be on again, so keep an eye out. We'll try to get a community post maybe just to let you know where we'll be, when we'll be, but we definitely are going to continue to be on through the holidays. We might be in some surprise places. Maybe we'll let you know. I'd let you know now, but I don't even know. So we'll see. We don't get the whole itinerary.
I text you guys the calendar every single week.
She does. Very thorough. Sometimes we might not read it all. Maybe that's part of the problem. Right? She doesn't tell us everything. Does she tell us everything? I got backup. And I think that's about it. Hope you guys enjoy your holidays. Yes, we say Merry Christmas around here. So Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you get to spend time with family. You get all the things on your list.
Let me know when we're working on that.
Menachem.
See, it's called.
We're working on that. The what?
The video you made today.
Oh, yeah. So we did. Menachem had a great idea. Let us know in the comments that we should do a video on about face. So she said a short, but we actually did a video. Maybe we'll break it up into a couple shorts. Had a motivator put on her uniform and did, I don't know if I got carried away, but I got in DI instructor mode. And so we did an about face, right? Lock the knee, trace the C. We did about face, right face, left face, parade rest, the 4 positions of rest. There are 4. Who knows all 4 positions of rest? Test your knowledge. I'll give you a couple minutes and then maybe I'll tell you the answer. There are 4 positions of rest. But we did. I explained and demonstrated those movements. And hopefully she can cut it up and get at least the about face on a short and put that out there. And we'll clean the video up and post it as a video. But great idea, Menachem. Great content. It's not going to be for everyone, right? It's for those of you that don't know. And maybe some of you that do know might be able to tighten up your about face. Drill, we talked about in the beginning. Don't take it out of boot camp. Don't decrease the hours. A long time ago when I was a drill instructor, and every time they talked about replacing something, adding something to boot camp, they always look at the hours of drill. Well, there's 112 hours of drill. We can take 10 hours off of that. Stop it. Don't take it off. Get with the drill instructors. Get with the newly promoted or newly graduated Marines. Get with recruits and see, is there enough drill time? Because I'm telling you right now, there's not enough time for drill. Stop replacing it with something else. Don't cancel drill. Don't cancel PT. Definitely don't cancel the classes, right? Customs, courtesies, history and traditions, all the things that make Marines great. Don't cancel any of that. Make it longer. Make boot camp longer. Right, some recruits will probably get mad at me right now, but if anything, keep it as it. I know way back before my time, it was like 8 weeks. I thought it was right before Vietnam. They were trying to push the Marines out there, so they did decrease it, but that was because of a need. There's no need to decrease it now. I think that's what the Navy's reasoning was, to get sailors into the fleet faster. Really, taking a week off, is that going to increase it? I guess over time, sure, it might. But don't mess with it. It's not broke. It doesn't need to be fixed. Tighten boot camp up. Right? We hear the stories that it's not what it used to be, and it used to be a lot harder. You used to get beat every day. I don't agree with nobody needs to get beat, but you do need the stress and the discipline and the culture shock and the era. You know that. Keep it in. Keep it in. Let the drill instructors do what they know how to do. Train them to be basically trained Marines. Era. All right. Once again, Merry Christmas, everyone. Are you laughing at comments?
I'm laughing at Annie's comment.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you soon. Not sure when. Keep an eye out, like and subscribe, share, get some more family, friends, get them on here. Let's continue to grow this warrior community. Awesome time. Always love spending time with you. You are our extended family. So let's keep it going. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Semper Fi, my friends. Era.